Trini.
Hey, yes, what's going on, people? And it is your boy, the G-Man, back with another edition of 5 Minutes with the G. Yes, Vlogume number 11. Boy. But as usual, I just want to send a big shout out to the PT family members. Shout out to the Straight Shooting LJA, Jezzy Fizzle, JBK and Nathan Arsenal. Also, I would like to ask people, if you're a first time watcher, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're a second, third time watching, you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like and share these videos and turn on the notifications so when these videos drop, you will be the first to be notified, okay? So the topic title for this week's show is Balo-stay, Balo-gone. Basically, Folarin Balogun, Arsenal young prospect from the under-23s, who's had somewhat of a breakthrough season. It looks like he's decided to not sign on the dotted line and accept a new contract offer from Arsenal, but he's accepted an agreement from RB-Leipzig and is looking to leave the club at the end of the season. Now, this has been an ongoing transfer saga for the past year or so, and you know, apparently Arsenal have been wanting to pin him down on a new contract, but for some reason or other, Folarin and his representatives have decided to look elsewhere. Now, one of the funniest things about this whole transfer saga is that apparently it's been floated around that he's asked for 100k a week. 100k a week, you know? Come on, that's making me weak inside, because I don't understand how anybody can ask for that sort of contract and they've only played 74 minutes for the first team. Yep, you're good. Yep, you've got a lot of fans behind you and you're making waves as a YouTube sensation. But come on, please. You've only played 74 minutes for Arsenal. Where the heck do you get off trying to ask for 100k a week, in my opinion? Now, the thing that really frustrates me is this whole comparison between him and Eddie Nketiah. A lot of people who like Folarin Balogun seem to want to downplay Eddie Nketiah and how good Eddie Nketiah is. Like, Eddie Nketiah, like, what is the under 21's top goal scorer of all time for England? You know, smashing in goals for England under 21, been smashing in goals for England under 18s. You know, he's been smashing in goals in the under 23s of Arsenal. He's now just slightly broken through to the first team, being given his chances, but it's hard for him to get into the team because he's got Aubameyang and Lacazette in front of him. Now, that's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, he's got two sturdy strikers for the next 2 or so years that he can really develop himself and become, by the time of the age of like, what, 23, 24, he will become what I believe is a top striker in the Premier League. Do you know what I'm saying? And that will be a nice age for him to ripen up and really, you know, show what he can bring to the team. If he can do it beforehand, fantastic. But I honestly do believe under the supervision of Aubameyang and Lacazette, he can be a top striker. Just keep doing what he's doing. Now, on the other hand, people now want to say Balogun's better than him because he's a flashier player, he does skills, he's, you know, they're just two different type of players basically, do you get me? And he's also smashing it in the under 23s. Well, Eddie's been there and done that, do you get me? Balogun's on his breakthrough year now, Eddie's having, you know, his like full sort of breakthrough year now, you get me? Like, it's one of those things, it's like, I really don't understand the comparisons. I'm not trying to compare the two at all myself. I just think they're, you know, two really good strikers. I just think one of the guys has got his feet on the ground and is, you know, trying to become the best Arsenal player he can be, and the other one is just trying to extort the club for some reason or another. I just don't know. This has been one of the most topical discussions of the last couple of weeks in my WhatsApp groups with a couple of friends, and you know, I'm just going to share some opinions that they've shared. So here's D.The-Knowledge with what he has to say.
Obviously football is an opinion-based sport. Whether someone thinks a player is good or someone's not, but at some stage tough decisions have to be made. And for myself, I just think that with Nketiah, you know, I've seen enough of him. I said his goal scoring record for under 21s is just against dead level teams. I think something where you can tell with Nketiah is the fact that he went on loan to Leeds United and couldn't displace Patrick Bamford from the lineup. Is because, yes, on paper his goals look good if you're counting goals against dead teams, but the guy has no footballing brain. He can't link up play. I mean, how many goals did he score for Leeds United in the Championship when he was there on loan? He couldn't. Since his return to Arsenal, apart from he scored a good goal against Newcastle. That was a proper striker's finish. The rest of his goals have been like goalmouth scrambles, not even clean finishes. You know, now we move on to Balogun. Now, from what I've seen of this guy, yes, his agent is taking a piss. The reason his agent's taking a piss because his agent knows he can. At a time where teams are struggling even to put £20 million together to sign players, he's getting a lot of offers for his client. So if he's speaking to 10, 15 clubs, of course he's going to be asking for like a stupid amount of wages for his client. That's just the guy's job. And Balogun is not a guy who, even at the age of 19 now, I've seen enough from him to see that this guy can actually play football. He's not just a striker who stands in the box hoping to tap the ball in the back of the net. He will be able to hold it up, link play, make movements, and for me, from what I've seen, his finishing is cleaner. He's got cleaner, more clinical finishing, like proper strikers' goals. I'm not talking about the ball comes in the 6-yard box, you know, he's hit your leg and gone into the back of the net. You know, he looks like someone who can actually finish.
Yeah, each their own, and this is what I'm saying. Like, different people have different ways of thinking about this scenario. Some people like Eddie, some people like Folarin. Do you get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the way I'm looking at it is like Eddie basically deputising for Aubameyang and Lacazette. He's going to turn into a good player, but you know what? Not saying that he's not a good player already. Not saying that, Eddie. I think you're a good player. But here's what J-Dadz has to say.
So basically, right, when you support, let's say, a bigger team, right, you kind of football's more like an eye test with you, so that when things are like pleasing on the eye, you tend to kind of gravitate towards that a bit more. So in terms of the stats, Eddie was always historically known to be a bad boy striker from all the youth. For literally all the youth levels, he's been banging in goals, right? And that's how he plays, isn't he? He's a fox in the box. And then D&I challenge you, his movements really, you have to be really good movement to be a fox in the box. You can't be a static person. You need to have an eye for a goal. He knows where to be in the box when the ball's coming in, whether it's a rebound or whether it's a cross. He knows where to be. All you need to do is check his first goal for Arsenal in the Europa League. I think did he score 2 goals in his debut? Or a goal in his first touch. He come on with the header, being in the right place at the right time. His style of play isn't taking on 25 people. Same as Aubameyang's style of play isn't like Henry's. Aubameyang is more get the ball, run off the last shoulder and score. Or if he's in the box, he's very clinical. Lacazette is hold the ball up. He's strong. He can shoot from far. He can bring other people into the game. So the reason why people gravitate more to Balogun is because he passes the eye test. And when I say the eye test, I mean like he's dynamic. He can, like you say, he does skills. He goes past people. You know what I mean? He can do the run off the shoulder. He can do the hold up play. And he scores like the Henry-esque goals, whereas Eddie all scores like the goal he will score a typical Man City goal. Like Eddie will be sick for Man City in the box, bang. He knows where to be, tap it in. So yeah, man, like none of them deserve 100 grand a week. But yeah, it's just how football is going. Like, everything is changing. The agents are just f***ing up the thing.
So yeah, you know what? I can see where J-Dadz is coming from. You get me? It's all about preference at the end of the day. It's all about what you like. Do you want a fox in a box? Do you want a more dynamic player? It's like Vinicius versus Henry, both top players, both bang goals for fun in their heydays, you know, when they're both competing against each other and battling for the golden boot. And, you know, their approaches were just different. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to any manager is someone that scores goals. It don't matter how they score goals, you know, it's do they score goals. So further to this conversation, like we had a little conversation on, you know, what we believe would be the fallout if Balogun was to leave Arsenal, you know. For me personally, I don't see any fallout. I don't really give a damn. Do you get me? If the guy doesn't want to sign on a dotted line, let him go. Do you get me? When you come to Arsenal Football Club, you want to, the first and foremost, you should want to come to Arsenal Football Club because you want to play. And that's like any club around the world. I don't care. I would assume fans want players who want to play for the club. You get me? Yes, we all want a flashy player. We want a sort of a personality. We want a big player. Do you get me? We want a player that takes us to that next level and will push us to take us to that next level, yeah? But first and foremost, you want a player who wants to sign on the dotted line. It's not about the money. It's not about the glitz and glamour. It's about his loyalty and love for the club, and he wants to play for the club. You get me? Now, to have a 19-year-old who's in the academy sitting there, getting a contract from Arsenal, you get me? There's so many other 19-year-olds there around him who probably won't get a contract, but Arsenal are offering you a contract and you want to sit there and you want to turn down Arsenal. For me, can F off, mate. It's quite simple. We don't need you. We'll concentrate on the next talent and concentrate on developing them and making them into a world beater. We just don't need those sort of players. That's my opinion, but you know what? This is what D.The-Knowledge had to say.
If Arsenal let this guy go, we're going to be making a big mistake. In Nketiah, you're always going to get players like Nketiah, Reece Nelsons, Iwobis. These kind of guys, there's many of them about. But the real talented guys, you can't be letting go. So Arsenal need to really, we need to know what we're doing. Yes, 100,000, that's a bit too much. But, you know, you might have to just bite the bullet and say, if we need to do it. But if we're going to do that, I think he should be around the first team now, pushing for a place to, in competition with Lacazette for a starting position. Because Nketiah, I don't know if you've noticed, since the Everton match where, you know, the Everton match was the final straw for me for Nketiah. I don't know if you remember that day. He had like a opportunity or two to score, just finishes. You know, he had like on the edge of the box a shit finish. He's just not in the box. Apart, if he's away from that 6-yard box, he doesn't know what he's doing. How many times have you seen him being put through and he's buried a chance like a striker? He doesn't have that ability. So as I said, with him, he's got to go.
Nah, sorry, I disagree with that. Like, we shouldn't be pinning our hopes on just one youthful prospect. At the end of the day, we've got prospects there. We've got Martinelli, we've got Saka, we've got Smith Rowe, we've got Reece Nelson, we've got Eddie Nketiah. Do you get me? And we've got obviously the under 18s and other under 23 players coming through. So if one of them wants to leave, let them go. But you know, each their own opinion. This is what J-Dadz had to say.
And so yeah, Balogun's mad to want 100 grand, but at the same time, like Callum Hudson-Odoi is on 100 grand. I think he's even more than that a week. I don't even think Saka's on 100 grand. Saka's probably on like 60, if that. So if I was Arsenal, I'd be like, bruv, the best youth player we have at the moment isn't on 100 grand a week. So what makes you think you want 100 grand a week? And Saka got a new contract after having a good season. Like, Balogun hasn't even had a season with us. You know what I'm saying? And that season Saka had, he played like 4 or 5 different positions and excelled in all of them, pretty much. So, yeah, the thing I just don't like is when people kind of, like, basically choose one or the other. We can have both, bruv. And we've got Aubameyang and Lacazette. They both can be good. But in 5 years' time, Aubameyang and Lacazette are not going to be here. In 5 years' time, Balogun is what? He's 24 years old. Eddie's what? I don't know, 26 years old or 27 years old. So both of them will be like in their prime or hitting their prime in 5 years' time. So I don't see why we're trying to long them off now for the sake of whatever. It doesn't make any sense. What we should be doing is building teams around certain players. But yeah, man, I'll keep both of them, man. Like, they both need a loan. They both should go out on loan now in January. Balogun more than Eddie, and just get a good run of games. Arsenal should sign Balogun to a new contract, send him to Germany so he dons it up. Don't you know? That's what all these young dons are doing. They're going to Germany and smashing it. So go Germany, go play for like a Wolfsburg or a freaking Schalke or Hoffenheim. Go there, smash it up, get that confidence. Because all it is at this age is confidence. Once you get the confidence, that's it. Haaland, right? He's a very, very good player, right? Very good. But if he never had the run of games and the confidence and belief in himself, he'd be nothing, bruv. So get the confidence, get the run of games, and that window for it is very, very small. Like, if we're not careful, Reece will not be good anymore. Like, Reece has still got potential, but he needs to get that potential by playing frequently. That's the thing with young players. If they don't play frequently, they lose it, and they just turn into average, dead players.
And yeah, theoretically, it would be good to have both players. Do you get me? That would be ideal. But, you know what I'm saying? If a player wants to leave, just let him go, in my opinion. If they're trying to hustle the club, just let them go. There's no point, move on to the next one. But, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. That's their opinion. And we want to find out what your opinion is. So, like, people, just let me ask you the question. This whole Folarin Balogun situation, what's your opinions on what's happening? And, you know, does he deserve 100k to stay at the club? You know, and, you know, how will the impact be if Arsenal were to lose him as a player? But you know what, people, I'm going to go now. I'm going to let you go. Remember, comment below, let us know your thoughts, and, you know, we'll be in touch. Anyway, I'm gone now. Peace.